Well, it's my pleasure to be here with you this morning. This is hard to believe for me, my 12th opportunity to report out on your association's activities. And just trust me that I'm humbled every day that I get to serve over 5,300 school leaders such as yourselves throughout the state of Illinois and work in this capacity as your executive director. Thanks for the privilege. But let me talk to you briefly about some of the exciting work here happening at IPA and also want to make sure that we're, as part of this, recognizing our staff here at the association that do the really good work that they're doing, particularly those that have met some milestones. But I want to especially thank for their hard work here at this conference and dotting the I's and crossing the T's, making sure that everything gets done. Pam Burdine, who is our conference and membership services coordinator, as well as Lynn Woodrum, who is our PD and conferences coordinator, who really are the heart and soul of getting everything done. So I don't know that they're in here right now, but if you wouldn't mind, let's just give them a brief round of applause and thank them for doing what they do. If things look easy and look smooth and all of that, it's because of everything they've done to get us to this point. Additionally, I'd like to recognize a few of the other IPA staff here with us. I won't embarrass them and mention them all by name, but I know we've got a few that aren't always around here for conference and other activities. But if those guys wouldn't mind standing real quick and just at least waving to the crowd, and appreciate that. Just so you guys know, as Anthony this morning was talking about culture and all of that and what your culture statement is, for us, we have a staff motto that we adopted several years ago and really maintain, and it's to serve each other, serve educators, serve kids. And our job here is to ultimately help you guys, through our service to each other, do what's best for students. And it's purposeful for a reason. It is purposeful because we know through our service to each other in the office, it allows us to do the work that we do on your behalf and then hopefully make your lives a little bit easier so you can serve your students. And so that's who we are, and we're fortunate to have such a great team live that out each and every day. In addition to that, I want to recognize two individuals who have hit a couple of milestones here at the association. The first is Don Anderson, who is our mentoring and coaching director, also works as our field coordinator. He's up here on the stage with me. Don's been here now coming up on about 5 years or so. Don, after he retired from Chicago Public Schools, right after he turned around Palmer Elementary School, he came on with us, and he's helped improve our connection to school leaders and CPS as well as the Chicago Archdiocese. He's helped revive our principal mentoring and coaching programs. This year, he led the launching of our Launching School Leader Network, and this year he's going to be embarking on the development of our Mastering School Leader Network as we work to build our school leader continuum. And so I want to just call up Don here and thank him, and if you wouldn't mind joining me in a round of applause. Thanks. In addition to Don, I also want to recognize Arlen Peebles. So with the exception of about one day when Arlen tested the waters with Horace Mann, Arlen's been with IPA for coming up on 10 years now. And he's filled many roles at the association since he started with us as a temp at the front desk, believe it or not. But we quickly found someone who was super talented, had a lot of creativity, and we're just happy that he's here with us. And so after weaving through several administrative PD positions, Arlen now serves as our online PD director. And while he has many different hats that he wears in this role, the primary one is leading our Ed Leaders Network, which now serves over 70,000 educators throughout the U.S. Additionally, Arlen does a little moonlighting with some voiceover work. And he's also picked up a new gig as conference man. So I don't know if you guys seen the video. So anyway, I'd like to welcome Arlen here to the stage. Please join me in welcoming him. Lastly, as far as staff introductions go, I do briefly want to introduce our new Deputy Director for Professional Development. So from all of the growth that we've experienced from our PD program over the last several years under the leadership of Gene Smith, it was obvious that this was a position that we needed to create. Since Gene desired to be a little bit more semi-retired than she had been previously, We also needed to find another person to fill this position. Fortunately, we were able to persuade Sue to join our team. Most recently, she served as the superintendent of the Smithton School District and worked in the Collinsville School District prior to that. And I won't get into her complete resume, but I will just tell you that she has a reputation for providing innovative leadership and doing creative work in the PD space. Further, most importantly, she's a Cardinals fan. Got that checked off the list right off the top. That's right. So we are glad that she's joined the staff, and I'll just ask Sue to stand and wave to you there. You know, Linza was a Cubs fan, and I moved her into a different spot so she wasn't so close. Yeah. Anyway, so this year's been a year of transformation here for the association, and that's happened in a couple of different ways, both in our physical and our digital space. Now, and this past year, you may recall, if you've sat in some of these meetings, I've given you updates on what's been happening with our facility. Now, these are two pictures of IPA's office, one from 2001, the other from just a few days ago, and my apologies, the one on the bottom is a little dark, but if you noticed, if you look to the left of the picture, we did add on to our office this past year. We also expanded our parking lot, and we really wrapped up a lot of the projects with that this past summer. We doubled our parking spaces, so when we've got people coming in, large groups, we don't have to tie up as much of the School Board Association's parking lot across the street. With the addition to the north side of the building, it gave us a couple of new offices, some meeting space, some storage, and maybe most importantly, bathroom space, okay? So when you got 50 people in our office, 2 Johns is really not enough Johns, okay? We need more than that. Further, we recarpeted, we repainted, we updated to some LED lighting, and also we enhanced some of the hardware for our technological infrastructure, including running fiber optics into the building to support all of the online work that we do. And maybe most importantly with all of this, we did everything without borrowing a dime. And I'm really proud of the board and the staff and appreciative of the resources that you provide to us to be able to have the physical space that we need to get the job done for you. Fortunately, we also have some property still to the south of the building for additional growth and expansion if we would ever need that. In addition to the work on the building, we also transformed our software infrastructure with a new database, web platforms, and a new learning management system for the Ed Leaders Network. All of this software, hopefully, will allow us to provide new and innovative services for you. I'm sure there are things we haven't even dreamt up yet. For example, though, what's currently happening, we're currently discussing with ISB how we can create a single sign-on option with ELN and their Ed360 platform. And we're also exploring how we can connect ELN to ELLIS, so when you take a course on ELN, it automatically transfers the completion data to ELLIS for you and for your teachers. So those are conversations that are currently in the works, and hopefully we'll have the technology for that figured out in the weeks and months to come. I will tell you, if you don't have your school set up in ELN yet, I encourage you to do so soon. Please be sure to take full advantage of this partnership that we have with the Illinois State Board of Education, and we should be, as long as dollars are available and the State Board remains satisfied, we should be locked into this for this year and for sure the 4 following school years thereafter. I will tell you that several school districts are already using this pretty successfully, and also, I will admit, helping us work through some of the bumps and bruises that come when you implement new technologies. You guys ever experienced that in your own schools? So we're working through those ourselves. But between the launch, I'll just share with you a pretty impressive stat, at least in my opinion. Between our launch in mid-July and September 30th, Illinois educators completed over 43,000 ELN courses. Okay, that's a big number. And obviously, we've got a lot more room to grow with that here. So if you haven't checked it out, give us a call. We'd like to be able to talk to you about that. Last year at this time, I introduced you to the school leader paradigm and the continuum that we created in conjunction with 5 other principals associations in 4 other states. That was Indiana, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Washington. Anthony weaved that in. You may or may not have picked up on that, but he weaved that into his remarks this morning. This framework is provided by the paradigm has already begun to influence work at the IPA as we are aligning all of our professional development offerings to that, including this conference as well as our content development for ELN. In addition, as I mentioned with Don, we're in our inaugural year of the Launching School Leader Network, and we have plans of starting, hopefully, an Aspiring School Leader Network and Mastering School Leader Network for the 2018-2019 school year. Moreover, we are tinkering around with the concept of micro-credentialing. And I won't get into the details of what that is, and we'll let you learn more from us as we put out information about it. But if you are interested in that and interested how we're going to be using micro-credentialing to assess competency around the school leader paradigm and the attributes and competencies related to that, we'd sure like to know. If you give us a call Sue. We are looking for a pilot group to work through a micro-credential around collaborative leadership coaching. That's something we're looking to work on. I appreciate Don was pretty instrumental in the start of that, and we've passed the baton to Sue now that she's here, and we're really looking to operationalize that. I will just tell you, the state board is very interested in this concept of how we might be able to use micro-credentialing to identify competencies and skills that all educators need and maybe help us with some of the pipeline shortage and other problems that we're dealing with in the profession. Now, there's a lot more stuff that I could really get into. I didn't talk a lot about evidence-based funding, the budget, other things related to that. But I do want to wrap up with this. As you know, we celebrate Principal Appreciation Week this week, we have Principal Appreciation Day here on Friday. Please take a moment during this time to reflect and know that your leadership as a leader are appreciated. Your leadership matters. You matter. Do not ever forget the power that you have in your position. Your students, staff, and community look to you for vision. They look to you for empowerment. They look to you to be a moral compass. They look to you to be their advocate. They look to you to be their voice when they're struggling to find theirs. And maybe most importantly, they look to you for hope, especially at times when there may only feel like there's despair. Thank you for making an eternal difference in the lives of kids, your teachers, your communities. Just be confident knowing that the IPA is here and always ready to support and encourage you however we can. Please be sure to give us a call anytime that we can support you. Thanks.